Hebrews chapter 9, verses 24 to 28. Christ's sacrifice takes away sin. For Christ did not enter into a sanctuary made by hands, a copy of the true one, but heaven itself, that he might now appear before God on our behalf. Not that he might offer himself repeatedly as the high priest enters each year into the sanctuary with blood that is not his own. If that were so, he would have to suffer repeatedly from the foundation of the world. But now, once for all, he has appeared at the end of the ages to take away sin by his sacrifice. Just as it is appointed that human beings die once, and after this the judgment, so also Christ, offered once to take away the sins of many, will appear a second time, not to take away sin, but to bring salvation to those who eagerly await him. Sanctuary made by hands. Exodus chapter 15, verse 17. Is the very first time the word sanctuary is used in the Bible, and we clearly see its meaning. Verse 17, the place where you made your seat, O Lord, the sanctuary, O Lord, which your hands established. The sanctuary was not established by man, but by God the Father, who made it with his own hands. We call this sanctuary heaven. The sanctuary was of God's design and a symbol of where he lived on earth. The Israelites were journeying through the Sinai and needed a movable place where God could live as he directed their journey. This would become known as the tabernacle, a tent made by human hands. The Ark of the Covenant, which Moses had built at God's direction, could also be found in the tabernacle. Psalm 114, verse 2, we read that Judah became God's holy place, Israel God's domain. In 1 Chronicles chapter 22, verse 19, we hear God tell the Israelites to build a sanctuary. This sanctuary was built at the direction of God, would become known as the temple. One section of the temple was called the Holy of Holies, where God and the Ark resided. The Holy of Holies was covered by a veil, and no one was allowed to enter except the high priest, and even he could only enter once per year at Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement, to offer the blood of sacrifice and incense before the Ark of the Covenant or mercy seat. In today's reading, verse 24, for Christ did not enter into a sanctuary made by hands, a copy of the true one, but heaven itself, that he might now appear before God on our behalf. Jesus didn't enter a sanctuary, a tent, a tabernacle, the temple, or the Holy of Holies on our behalf, but he entered heaven and appears before God on our behalf. The temple veil was a constant reminder that sin separates humanity from the presence and friendship of God. The fact that the sin offering was offered annually and countless other sacrifices repeated daily showed that sin could not be completely atoned for or erased by mere animal sacrifices. Jesus Christ, through his death, has removed the barrier, the veil, between God and man, and now we may approach him with confidence that he will act as a mediator for us with the Father. Hebrews chapter 4, verse 14. Therefore, since we have a great high priest who has passed through the heavens, Jesus, the Son of God, let us hold fast to our confession. For we do not have a high priest who is unable to sympathize with our weakness, but one who has similarly been tested in every way, yet without sin. So let us confidently approach the throne of grace to receive mercy and to find grace for timely help. The temple veil was torn in two when Jesus died on the cross.